Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be the start to a new series that I plan on doing on my channel, and that's going to be all about underrated books that deserve to be talked about more. You know, I find that I watch a lot of book videos on YouTube, and there are times where I feel like a lot of the people are kind of talking about the same books and, you know, the most popular books that are going on right now, the most hyped books, and I feel like sometimes really good books kind of get like brushed under the rug and don't get the hype that they deserve. And so that's kind of what I want to dedicate this series to, is talking about a few books in each episode that I genuinely think are really good and deserve to be talked about more and deserve to be recommended to people that are looking for really good books that maybe just aren't as popular. Okay, so both the books that I'm going to talk about in today's video are both by the same author, which is Grace Draven. And she is another author that I find that just isn't mentioned as much as some other authors here on YouTube. And, you know, you're always hearing about N.K. Jemisin and Brandon Sanderson and Cassandra Clare and kind of, you know, those like huge names in the, you know, fantasy, YA genres. But today I want to take the time and highlight Grace Draven because I think she has some really great books that deserve to be talked about more. Okay, the first book I want to talk about is Entreat Me, obviously by Grace Draven, and this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. And I just think that Grace Draven does such a good job of taking, you know, this original classic story, but also putting her own twist on it. I feel like she makes it a little bit more intricate. I feel like she makes it a little bit more adult and older and mature, and I just think the story is really good from start to finish. I'm not going to go too into detail because you can probably already guess, you know, the basics of the plot, considering it is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but I just love honestly every aspect of this book. And one of my favorite things about this book is the relationship building and the character building. All of our characters develop through this story. They all, you know, grow and mature, and as they're growing and they're maturing, the relationships are growing and maturing as well. And I think that she does such a good job of building the relationships so that they're, you know, friends first. The trust builds, the friendship builds, and then from there, the relationship grows and develops, right? And I just think it's a really enjoyable to read. It's really enjoyable to read their relationships growing. Even though you kind of know where the story is headed, it's still really enjoyable to read as you're going through. Another good thing about this book is that it is a standalone novel. It is not a series, and you know, a lot of times fantasy books are series and not just standalone books. So if you're just looking for a quick fantasy book to read, maybe, you know, you are going on a long weekend trip and you want to bring a book, I definitely recommend this book. And it's quick, it goes fast, it's intriguing from the start, and it's just a really enjoyable experience. Okay, and the second book that I want to talk about is Radiance, also by Grace Draven, obviously. And this book, it is actually a series, but I'm just specifically talking about the first book right now. This book is so good. In this book, we follow our two main characters, Brishan and Ildiko. And Brishan is a prince of the Kai people, and Ildiko is the niece of the Gori king of the Gari people. And they are basically wed in an arranged marriage in order to bring their two countries closer together and help solidify different treaties and different negotiations that are going on between these two countries. But the kind of issue here is that the Kai people and the Gori people don't look anything alike. You know, Kai people are a little bit more animalistic looking. They have this like deep gray silver skin. They have kind of like animalistic features, whereas the Gari people are a little bit more, I guess you could say, human looking. Like Ildiko has, you know, pale skin, you know, her face would look like mine, right? And she has this like beautiful red hair. And so to each other, the other person is like not attractive. It's not, you know, how they would envision their, I guess, spouse to look, right? So they're not exactly attracted to each other. However, you know, when they meet, they actually realize that they love the other person's personality. You know, they're both very kind, gentle, loving people. And although, like, you know, Brishan's like, Ildiko is the ugliest person I've ever met, but on the inside she is lovely and she's beautiful. And because of that, throughout the first book, it is so beautiful to watch their friendship and their relationship develop based off the fact that, you know, from looks alone, they are not into each other, but their personalities are so great and mix so well with each other that they're able to develop this relationship based off that. And without going too more into detail and giving too much of the book away, I love this book because I think that it represents something, you know, so much like bigger than the actual book itself, which is loving someone for what's on the inside and not what's on the outside. I think it speaks a little bit towards, you know, like biracial couples and falling in love with someone for what's on the inside and not what's on the outside. You know, it doesn't matter what someone looks like, what color their skin is, what race they are, what shape their eyes are. It's just about the person on the inside that matters. And I think that Grace Draven does such a great job of saying all those things without saying them, you know, directly. And honestly, it's just one of my favorite love stories that I've read. And I would definitely say that this is a romance book first, fantasy book second, but it also has all the great things about fantasy books, which is, you know, worlds building, adventures, you know, traveling on horseback from one place to another, and all while, you know, we're learning about this world and they're traveling, you know, they're also getting to learn about each other because they met basically on their wedding night. And so we're learning about the characters, they're learning about each other, and as they're traveling, they're kind of, you know, falling in love in the way. And I just think it's beautifully written. I think it's just everything about this book I love, and I would highly recommend it. Unfortunately, I did find that the second book in the series went a little bit downhill. We kind of got away from, you know, what I liked so much about the first book was their relationship and, you know, them showing the world that it doesn't matter what you look like, anyone can love anyone for who they are on the inside. And it got a little bit more into the like fantastical elements in the second book, which I thought was still good, but the focus of the second book definitely wasn't on what I loved so much about the first book, if that makes sense. The third book in the series, I believe, is either coming out or just came out, and I do plan on reading that because I want to know how, like, you know, the whole series kind of ends. But I do believe that it focuses on two different main characters. So if Brishan and Ildiko are our main characters in the first and second books, we're introduced to other characters in those books, right? And then I believe two other characters that we're introduced to become the main characters in the third book, and Brishan and Ildiko kind of take a backseat to them for this third book. So I'm excited. I'm hoping the third book kind of goes back to, you know, what's kind of happening in the first book and builds this relationship, because again, I believe it's going to focus on people that are different. So one of the Kai, which is Brishan's, I guess, race, I'm not exactly sure, but and then a person of a different race or country or look, you get what I'm saying. So I'm hoping that it kind of goes back to that of like, you know, this love story between people that are seemingly really different and look really different from the outside, but fall in love with each other because like it just can't stay away from that person because of who they are on the inside. So yeah, I hope that I explained that book okay. I know I ran a little bit in tangents there, but I hope that I explained the book well, and I hope you can see from my explanations how much I really love these books and how much I really recommend them. I think they're really good. They're both, you know, relatively short, relatively easy to read. Like, I don't think you'll struggle through these books. They are intriguing right from the beginning, and you'll just kind of fly through them, or at least I did. But yeah, that's all I have today. I hope you guys liked this video. I hope you guys like this series idea. I just really want to feature books that I feel deserve to be talked about, but just for whatever reason aren't. But yeah, that's all I have for this video. I hope you guys like it. If you do, please press that like button down below. Please subscribe if you aren't already, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye!